All right, guys, we are going to get through this day 2 now of the PCS Trophy Championship. Next up, we have the winners bracket finals, Mystery versus Pettish. And this one was a banger. I'm not going to explain too much. I'll let you guys get into it. The winner obviously qualifies to basically just be in the top 2 100%, waiting for the losers bracket to finish. The loser goes down to the losers bracket, but we'll have another shot to make it back to the top. So without further ado, here is the winners bracket finals. A lot of the They Who Endure players are getting sucked into banning Frostbite because it just inherently feels bad to go against Frostbite as a They Who Endure player. So I think that might be some of the thought behind the decision of banning something like mid-range Frostbite like we're seeing here. But with that said, we have game 1 about to get started here between Pettish and Mystery. Let's go ahead and get into the game.
Still love that transition.
Oh yeah, what, the PCS one?
The PCS one,
I
yeah.
love it too, man. It's actually it's pretty clean, I'm not gonna lie.
Whoa. Nobody told me their name was Mystery Hearthstone. Hold on a second. I want to change my answer. Pettish got this one all the way, everybody.
Whoa. Hold on. Are we gonna hit up Mystery now like we did with Random and figure out if HS actually means Hearthstone? Because Random confirmed HS means Hearthstone. Is it just always Hearthstone at this point, HS? It's gotta be.
On a very real level, yes. On a fake level, I'm gonna sit here the entire time and call this this is Mystery High School.
Or what were we saying before? It was a helium submarine or something.
Something like that.
Oh man. So turn 1 here. Gonna have Pettish playing this hapless aristocrat to Mystery Streg Dredgers. So the hapless being a little bit better as far as trade value is concerned against the Streg Dredgers. Looks like Mystery is gonna go ahead, offer up that trade. Gonna have that Spiderling token left over for Pettish. And well, let's see. I mean, deep, we see it all the time. The strategy with this They Who Endure, get as many units down as quickly as possible, go wide, maybe hit an Everglade Collector. Let's see if Pettish can do it here in the early game.
Pettish has a really strong opener, too. Anytime you can get that Cursed Keeper into a Bladed Caretaker, that feels phenomenal. It's going to push through just about any early game that any other deck in the game can present to you. Even if we saw Mystery open up with an extremely defensive early game of like Dead Bloom Wanderer, Thorny Toad, Dreg Dredgers, the perfect curve, Bladed Caretaker still gets around that and is going to push through 4 damage. Yeah,
Cursed Keeper, so good, I gotta say. Even after the slight nerf to the Abomination, as you guys can see here, going from a 4-4 to a 4-3, still an incredible card for exactly this reason. Obviously not gonna get a whole lot of value out of these saplings on the side of Pettish, but like I was just saying before, the focus early game in this matchup for Pettish is doing that damage to face like we all know and love. Face is the place, and Pettish already able to get 8 damage down.
So we've seen this matchup a lot, Deep versus Indoor Spiders. Typically, it goes the way of the Indoor Spiders, right? I'm not crazy for thinking that?
Yes, because of exactly what's happening right now, yeah. I think most of the time, generally, when we've seen this game, Endure's able to take it away with, Cursed Keeper, the Abominations, Neverglade on turn 5. You don't actually... I think there's been plenty of games we don't even see the They Who Endure come down, but It's very possible, if it does come down, it's probably just attacking for the win at that point. But yeah, so I generally got to give this to the They Who Endure deck.
And Mystery running 2 Grasp of the Undying and 1 Withering Wail. Typically, the other players that we've seen throughout this tournament pick one of those spells and all in on it. Lobster, I believe, went with the double Withering Wail. I think it was somebody that we saw yesterday. It might have been
3 Grasps.
I don't remember who it was. Yeah. 3 Grasps.
Yeah, I remember too. I can't remember the name, but yeah, it is interesting that we're seeing the full suite of spells here. Just a little bit of everything.
So Pettish actually gets bailed out quite hard by this Neverglade Collector top deck. Does have now the perfect curve into the next couple of turns. I don't think he's necessarily going to play them out that way, though. Generally, you don't want to play Sejuani on your defensive turns. Maybe if Mystery goes for something like Double Abyssal Eye, then we could see it happen. And I think that Mystery is pretty inclined to go for something like that. So maybe we will actually see a defensive Sejuani this time around.
It's quite possible, but I mean, hey, I don't want to say I called it, but... I called it. We have a wide board with the Neverglade Collector, and with Mystery being at 7 health, and from the looks of it, no way of getting rid of this Neverglade Collector this turn in hand. honestly, he might just die next turn to an open attack with things dying, and, you know, we'll see what happens here. or we could see the Sejuani come down, like you mentioned, just to have it as an open attacker on the next turn with Overwhelm.
Those were some really bad tosses out of Mystery right there, losing the Atrocity and the Vengeance.
Yeah.
Those are some of the bigger threats that you could have, not only for closing out this game, but staving off the aggression that Pettish is going to put forward next turn. And Mystery has to hold Ruination mana, otherwise I am almost certain that they are going to die to this They Who Endure.
Yeah, They Who Endure, especially, unfortunately, being at a 3/5, so you can't do something, like you have a Grasp, you could top deck possibly a Vile Feast to actually kill it off, and being at 5, can't really do that. Now we're only at Vengeance or possibly 2 Grasp, which he will not have the mana for next turn. So, I don't know. It's looking pretty bad for Mystery here, and this Overwhelm damage is not going to help on the following turn either.
Okay, so we're going to throw the Sapling into the Neverglade so that we can grasp it next turn, but that's still not a lot. Mystery going to go down to 2 units. Maokai is an okay blocker.
So, I guess the unfortunate thing for Pettish right now is that he has a full board. The other thing, though, is that Mystery's on 10 mana, so even if he wanted to play something, Ruination is a real threat here, and by pushing the attack, he pushes lethal, which means Ruination is not going to be a concern this turn, so I think we are going to see the Grasp come out here on this Neverglade Collector.
If Pettish top-decked something like a Callista, and played the Callista over his Omen Hawk, and Mystery Ruination, Mystery would actually lose the game. The 4/3 Abomination would pop out, and then Elise represents 3 damage on her own. If Pettish had a way to bait out the Ruination pre-combat and get the Elise down, he would have the win, but, I mean, that's kind of a tall ask, especially when you have a full board, and the Endure, with the amount of mana that you have, isn't going to get it done. So I do really like the open attack from Pettish. This could be the turning point in the game, though. I think that Mystery has a really good shot at surviving here, and then we'll still have the Ruination available, as well as the Maokai still on field. It's still a lot of gas in hand, it seems.
Yeah, we'll see if Mystery is able to turn it around from here. I mean, this would be turn 7, kind of that, the turn for deep decks, right? Supposedly, or possibly getting the Nautilus down here, going deep this turn. Doesn't look like he's going to be going deep this turn, but it is looking like he is finally starting to stabilize just a bit here. So we'll see what the result is after some of this damage gets pushed through.
Yeah, this is actually a pretty weak attack out of Pettish. Not only did he have a lot of units that are very weak, but he actually attacks with the Neverglade Collector. Mystery offers up the Abyssal Eye, and now Pettish has to say, okay, there's literally nothing else they can do, but the Grasp of the Undying does get saved, and now something like that can be used on the Sejuani. Maokai does line up a Sapling and the Grasp of the Undying into her pretty well, and I think this is the part where we get to see Mystery come back into this, but Pettish, of course, can draw Atrocity at any time and really swing this one back.
Now, is there any chance that Pettish, because obviously, like you said, he ended up trading it with the Abyssal Eye. Do you think Pettish valued getting rid of the Abyssal Eye more than, getting that Grasp to come out from Mystery?
Probably. The Grasp doesn't have any phenomenal targets in the deck outside of Callista, and when you're at a game state like this, and you don't have any Glimpse Beyonds, and you don't have a lot of cards in hand, you already have the Endure, you really just have to play to what you have, and nothing else on your board is an appealing Grasp target. I would have liked to see my opponent have to commit more of their turn to something like that, but I don't think this is necessarily bad, and if Pettish does go for They Who Endure here, maybe Mystery has to Ruination next turn, and then Pettish can continue to develop, but I'm not sure that his redevelopment is strong enough to actually finish out the game, especially because that Blighted Caretaker can't come down.
Yeah, it's actually kind of playing against Pettish having this wide board all of a sudden, and that's one of the minor problems, I guess you could say, with Blighted Caretaker. It's not a huge drawback, but it is obviously playing against Pettish, as we see here. So it'll be interesting if Pettish, on this following turn, if he is able to open attack, possibly push through the damage. I don't think so, with now having a Vile Feast in hand on the side of Mystery. That is going to be 4 heal that comes through if he does have to deal with some of these open attackers. But this They Who Endure can pose a big problem. Do we see like a Ruination come out this turn just to get rid of the They Who Endure?
I don't think it's unreasonable by any stretch of the imagination.
That's crazy.
The concern that Mystery has to have is if you Ruination and Pettish plays another They Who Endure, then you do just lose. You have nothing in your hand that's going to stand up to that.
Well, plus, yeah, you are going to have this Abomination that pops out still. So, Pettish is still going to have a 4/3. Obviously, that can get Grasp of the Undying, so it's not the end of the world for Mystery if that does happen. But we see here in Pettish's hand plenty of other things that he can go ahead and play down to the field to potentially go wide and take the game. The problem is, Mystery is playing that one Withering Wail, and that is something with the cards specifically that Pettish has. If he tried to go that route after something like a Ruination, it would get Withering Wailed possibly, but no Ruination coming out. This is...
So I'm fine with no Ruination. What I wasn't as fine with was not grasping the Sejuani to be mana efficient. You're going to grasp the Sejuani anyway, and if Pettish is going to respond with something like a Fury of the North, you would much rather them play that on their off turn. Now if Fury of the North comes out onto the Sejuani, that's probably just lethal. And Pettish draws They Who Endure after getting Maokai, so that was one of the last cards remaining in the deck, which always makes you feel a little weird, because you are looking for Atrocity, and you feel like you've already high-rolled by having an Endure left in your deck, so what are the odds that you get that and the Atrocity?
I mean, not very high, but I got to agree with you. This, by Mystery not grasping, he's obviously got less mana for this turn. I don't see if that... I mean, obviously, he can't salvage into, like, another Grasp or something like that now, and also play this Grasp in hand, so that's kind of unfortunate. But I think, what is that, 2? That's going to be 3. He heals 2. I mean, he definitely lives, right?
Yeah.
And I think... if he definitely lives this turn, I think the only option Pettish now has moving forward in the game is Atrocity and They Who Endure. I think that's the only kind of combo that he can get off that's going to win the game, because if the second They Who Endure comes out, he's just going to be able to Ruination it.
The reason that I really need Spectator mode is because Maokai does tell you what cards are tossed out of your deck, so I need to be able to hover that and know if there are any Atrocities left in Pettish's deck.
Yeah. Is that really the only reason we need Spectator mode?
That's the only one that I could possibly think of.
I think there's a lot of reasons we need Spectator mode, just saying.
Specifically for this matchup, I need to know if there are Atrocities left, and that's it.
I would like make a Mobilytics tracker or something, but just for us though, not crowding up the screen, right? So yeah, no, we got to see Mystery here go down to 2 with still some more, life gain in his hand. He still has that Grasp to kind of fall back on if he needs it, with the Sejuani still being alive. So, you had mentioned possibly grasping that Sejuani last turn. Looks like he's not really minding it, kind of hanging around for a little while here, and it's not hurting him, at least thus far. See, he heard you. He's scrolling through the sidebar here and be like, all right, here we go.
Please show me the Maokai. Yeah. Figure out if you have Atrocities left
in
the deck.
Hover over each one for at least 2 seconds so that we can see it. He'll run out of time for his turn, but at least you help the casters. It's fine.
That's the thing. Like, we think about the players so much. Do they think about us? Do you ever go,
I like to think
you're sitting there, you're not doing anything. Let me hover the Ezreal. How many targets does it have? What's this Maokai sitting at? Help me help you.
And
self.
Here's the Sapling. Gonna go ahead, challenge this They Who Endure. Very nicely trading with it. This is probably one of the best Sapling value trades you're ever going to get. And so, this is really good for Mystery, I think, the spot.
Yeah, Mystery's not out of the woods, though. Pettish does have the second Endure in hand. Mystery doesn't have an answer for that outside of the Ruination. And Pettish almost certainly going to develop the They Who Endure this turn. Mm-hmm. If Mystery is forced to fire off the Ruination, they only have a Grasp of the Undying next turn as the removal available to them, and Pettish is going to get to go wide with this Elise, this Bark Beast, and I don't know that the Grasp of the Undying is going to be enough. But if Pettish plays Endure, does Mystery just respond with Nautilus? This Endure is only a 12-12.
If the Endure is a 12-12, like you say, my good sir, I would have to agree with you. I think the Nautilus comes down, because then there's no reason to waste the Ruination if you have another way to deal with the They Who Endure. The Ruination at this point is kind of like his, break glass in case of emergency card. I don't think it's really an emergency right now. Even though he's at 2 health and you might think it's an emergency, I don't think Mystery is in that bad of a spot right here.
Yeah, it's almost like Mystery is looking at Pettish. Pettish has the gas trail on the ground, just holding the match in their hand, but the fire hasn't actually started yet. There's no need to get the axe and the fire extinguisher out.
No, definitely not right now. So we'll see what Mystery decides to do next here. If he is, all right, Mystery might still go for the Nautilus here. The other thing too, so I don't listen. I feel like we do this so much. Maokai's a thing. Maokai was leveled. So Pettish is also
Pettish
on a clock. So
yeah, very much.
It's like, at this point, I don't think Pettish wins unless, and this is what I was saying earlier, unless he's able to, he can't even glimpse. There has to be an Atrocity back in his deck. There just has to be. I don't think he wins if there's no Atrocity. I mean, how does he get this They Who Endure in his hand on the board without it either being killed or blocked. Now that Nautilus is on the board.
With only, it's so unfortunate that the Glimpse Beyond is one of the last cards in the deck. I mean, like, you could play the Blighted Caretaker this turn onto a Spiderling just to get your Endure up to a 14/14. But I mean, that's so bad, right?
Oh man, and now the Shipwreck Hoarder too just provides another really good blocker. I think that's just going to be game for Pettish unless he can draw an Atrocity. So we'll see what these last two draws. Fury of the North is a thing that we were not thinking of, but I don't know if it gets him there.
It kind of depends, because you would imagine that Nautilus is going to block the Endure. You would imagine that Shipwreck Order is going to block the Sejuani. I mean, Mystery has 6 units, so they can block everything. And then Fury of the North isn't enough to get over any of those for lethal damage.
Sejuani does level.
Only if Mystery takes damage.
Yeah. Well, he would have to... Yeah, if he blocks with the Nautilus, he won't. So if this Fury goes on They Who Endure, the Sejuani will at least level, which is something.
Okay.
Wow.
So Mystery blocks with the Maokai instead, not respecting Fury of the North. But I think even with... I think Grasp of the Undying actually lets Mystery live at 1.
Yeah, if you're saying if he were to Fury the Sejuani?
I mean, you can Fury... Yeah, Fury the Sejuani, as it does represent the full 4 damage.
Yeah, I don't think Pettish really has a choice at this point, but to go ahead and Fury the Sejuani right now. All right. Gonna go ahead and do the They Who Endure instead.
Okay, so this makes sense, because that will level the Sejuani. Sejuani will then turn into 6 attack and kill the Maokai anyway.
And still live.
And then you get to kill the Nautilus, so you do still have the potential to top deck something for lethal.
Well, I think we all know what he's thinking about right now.
So Mystery does have Salvage.
Yep.
Not a lot of cards in deck. Pretty high chance to draw Nautilus off that. And does have the mana to play Grasp, Salvage, Nautilus's Riptide.
And looks like... I mean, do you grasp the They Who Endure here? I don't think that's correct if he does that.
I mean, I think I would always grasp the Sejuani.
I think you have to kill the Sejuani at this point.
Yeah, I don't really care that much about losing my Nautilus.
Well, and the issue is, and I don't think you care about killing the They Who Endure because you only have one more attack turn left. Or sorry, you don't have any more attack turn. This is the last attack turn for Pettish, right?
Yeah, the only thing you're worried about is Atrocity, but homie, you're going to be at like 1 HP. The Atrocity on anything is going to kill you at this point.
And yeah, this is gonna... Oh, this feels bad on the side of Pettish. Gonna go ahead and get Mystery back up in health here. Enough to live for this turn. And now we are down to a top deck, ladies and gentlemen. If this card is Atrocity, Pettish can win the game. If it is not Atrocity, he loses the game.
Imagine how bad it would feel for Mystery if it is Atrocity. Actually, Neverglade Collector is also lethal for Pettish.
Yes, because wait.
If he can get Mystery to not Ruination him.
I mean, I feel like once you play the Neverglade, you have to Ruination knowing that you're at 3. That's not gonna do it. Yeah.
That's nothing.
That's just game. I mean, listen, if he top decked Atrocity, it can't be worse than drawing a Shroom on the last turn of the game for Karma Ezreal Mirror. So we've seen much worse things happen in this tournament.
Yeah, in this tournament specifically, not even in like our casting careers, it's like, yeah, about yesterday we saw something happen.
We saw a lot of something happen yesterday. Oh my god, that was insane. Oh,
but that is going to be Mystery picking up game number 1, and that leaves them with just the Karma Ezreal against the Endure Spiders and the Bannerman of Pettish. And I feel like Mystery has a pretty good shot at getting this one done. Karma Ezreal is still a phenomenal deck in the format, but Pettish going to stick with the Endure Spiders for this.
Yeah, Pettish going to go ahead, still try to get the win with the Endure Spiders. Again, if he's able to be aggressive here early on, this is a hell of a hand to be aggressive with early on. Wow! That is really good. That is a sweet, sweet curve, not to mention a nice little Bark Beast as the cherry on top there to kind of get Pettish really into this early game super fast. And Mystery on the other side doesn't really have anything he can do until turn 4. Does draw the Ezreal now that he might be able to get down next turn, which Pettish, crucially, this is what we said, I think, yesterday, too. They Who Endure decks cannot deal with Ezreal very well if it does come down early in the game.
Yeah, and I think that's... I mean, we see the 1 Elise picked up for Pettish as well, which I think is an adaptation that you kind of keep in for these slower matchups. But, I mean, does this even necessarily look that good for Pettish? Does this extra 3 damage mean as much as you need it to? Is that better than just the agency that a Sejuani gives you in other matchups? Or even I don't. Is there like a different shadow? Like, could I just run a Hecarim? Is Hecarim better against Karma Ezreal than Elise's?
No, not with stuns, man. I feel like Hecarim.
I mean, I feel like stuns aren't as effective against Hecarim because I attack you, Steel Tempest. I have Spectral Riders, baby. This is still coming in. My Endure is still bigger.
Yeah, it does. It does feed the Endure as well. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. Because me and you have been back and forth about how this Elise, or just Elise in general, doesn't really feel.
I don't think
great.
we've been back and forth about it. I think we've been pretty.
Oh.
Pretty in the negative.
No, yeah, I don't mean back and forth as to whether or not it's good. I mean like,
okay.
We've been back and forth with each other about how it's
bantering about it. Yeah,
not good. And yeah, it's just I really don't like it. And seeing something like Diana, which was spoiled today as a 2-drop as well, I don't know. I'm not crazy about Elise. I don't think it's really going to do what Pettish wants it to do in this matchup. But this Kalista, on the other hand, so we're not really going to be able to evaluate the Elise here because if the Kalista lives, this is what's going to do something.
I'm a little surprised that Pettish developed the Kalista, knowing that there is a, the Mystic shot in Mystery's hand has to be cognizant of a Static Shock coming down this turn. There was already an okay Static Shock on this. You're just playing more into Static Shock. Never mind. We're just all in on dying to Static Shock here.
Yeah, the second he played it, like it's on the surface, Bark Beast feels good because you're like, okay, he either kills my Kalista and I get a 3/3, or he kills my 1/1 and I keep my Kalista and I level the Kalista. But Static Shock says no to both scenarios, so Pettish going to be feeling really bad about this Bark Beast play here in just a moment.
And this isn't Twisted Fate Ezreal. We're not looking at 1 to 2 copies of Static Shock. We're looking at the full 3.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways for Mystery to deal with this. This is not looking good for Pettish here in game number 2, and oh, that hurts.
So
that hurts me.
I guess Pettish is just trying to push as much damage as humanly possible and says this Bark Beast will bait out a Static Shock pre-combat. My Blighted Caretaker gets to come down. I get to push 2 damage onto the Ezreal as well as a lot of damage at base. I mean, Mystery is going to fall down to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 7 HP here.
So here's where I think Elise is helping a little bit here. Just trying to support this Elise idea is he doesn't care as much about losing something like the Kalista and the Bark Beast to Static Shock because this Elise will still continue to push out tokens. And Karma Ezreal doesn't have a way of dealing with wide boards. Like you just have to slowly but surely pick these off, but they all do 1 damage still. So we'll see if those are going to be enough to actually push it over the edge.
Oh, Pettish. Oh no, don't play the Neverglade. Oh no, Pettish, there's a Thermo Beam. Oh, it's like I'm watching a horror movie.
Oh, he's playing right into absolutely all of the worst cards that Mystery could have. And he's playing, what concerns me, right, is that Pettish is playing a little bit fast, it seems like. And I don't know if that's due to his first game loss. You know, you're always going to ask yourself a question like that, but this is a little bit faster than we typically see players play in a tournament like this. Like, look at that. Look at that attack just ripped off. Just, oh, my turn, attack. Not even thinking.
I do like that he challenges the Ezreal with the Elise. You don't want it to die to Tail of the Dragon, as well as the fact that, you know, this is the one thing that doesn't die to Mystic Shot, which is the little bit of mana that Mystery still is available for themselves. So you are going to get to guaranteed kill the Ezreal, but I mean, this feels like a bad movie where Mystery is the killer. We get to see that they have all the answers available for them. The traps are laid bare, and we have to helplessly watch from the audience as Pettish just walks into it continuously.
Oh, man. I mean, but what I will say, Pettish doesn't look like he's in a bad spot. We have the Endure that could come down. Again, knowing that there's nothing like a Ruination or anything that can actually go ahead and get rid of a wide board. We have the Fury of the North that can also push damage onto Sejuani if he decides to not go for the Endure, which it looks like he's not, opting to play the Cursed Keeper here. So yeah, I still think Pettish is very much, he has a chance to win this. What on the side of Mystery, he does have a Yone if he doesn't open attack. So I think as Pettish, you have to open attack. And if you do with Fury, does he have any stuns? There's a Will of Ionia.
Yeah, there's also a Deep Meditation, but you can't will and... Well, there's a Steel Tempest as well picked up off the top there.
So that actually, I think the Steel Tempest is enough to 100% save himself. So now if you go ahead and Fury something like the Cursed Keeper or the Spiderling, it's just going to go ahead and get Will of Ionia, which is going to feel really bad. I really hope that Pettish doesn't just continue this horror story like you mentioned and continue into that play.
I mean, I think you throw out the Fury, though, right? Like, if you have a chance at lethal, you have to take it. If you're getting another stun or kind of effect out of your opponent for a Spiderling, that doesn't feel too bad. Or, I mean, like, you could develop the Neverglade Collector, but you can Fury and Neverglade Collector anyway. So I think that that's something that behooves you. Maybe Pettish just thinking, okay, if my opponent goes down to 2, I can almost guaranteed kill them with this Neverglade. Whereas if I throw out this Fury of the North, then I don't know. They're going to be at 3. It's a little bit harder to get it done.
Okay, so now I think you sold me, right? Because now I'm thinking, all right, his opponent's at 5. You are never going to get more value out of this Fury because you already have 2 Overwhelm units that nothing's going to block them to prevent 5 damage, really. So I think this is okay. Just because it's getting, like you said, a Will of Ionia out right now, which is not going to end up being played on either the Sejuani or the They Who Endure, which is obviously a much worse target to have returned to your hand. With that said, do you play it on the Spiderling instead of the Curse Keeper just because it's less mana? Yeah.
Always.
So that was a little... Yeah.
You just have to be... I mean, you think it's either going to get stunned or Will of Ionia to either one, and this just plays around Will of Ionia a little bit better because your Elise is dying on that combat exchange. You can't even do something like follow up with a Vile Feast to get the 3 spiders for the Elise evolution.
Oh, that's a...
puzzle piece number 1.
Exodia is on its way. Unfortunately, Karma going to be enlightened next turn, and this is where that 3 just seems like such a much bigger number than the actual 3.
But I mean, Pettish has a really wide board. Mystery doesn't actually... Like, Mystery is fully relying on what comes out of both this Deep Meditation and the Karma's Inside of Ages.
Yeah, he is 100%. He just kind of needs to rip these, see what he gets, probably next turn. Looks like he is going to play a couple cards, though, before going ahead and sending things back over to Pettish. We'll see what he's targeting here. Yep, I'm going to go ahead and be the Neverglade Collector alongside the Mystic Shot, too. Unfortunately, needing to do these now instead of waiting until Karma's leveled, which means we get 1 more burn spell out.
Pettish.
Is he thinking about triggering something with the Neverglade? I don't think you do that here, do you? Just to give yourself a better open attack?
So he was trying to do it onto the Curse Keeper, but, you know, hovers the eye, notices that he actually will lose the Abomination. Why are we losing the Abomination? Just do it on a Spiderling. You literally saw that you lose the Abomination.
Wait, what? Why is he... well, I mean, that feels bad. Feels a little bit bad. Not sure why he decided to do that after hovering the eye, too. That's what the eye is for. It's why we all love it and know it. It might not matter. It might not matter, depending on this open attack. Because Yone won't matter. Ghost won't matter. Health Potion, for the most part, won't matter. I think he's got this. It just depends on if... It depends on if Mystery's able to rip something impactful with Deep Med or these Inside of Ages, like you mentioned. But, not for nothing, that's a crap ton of spells. There is a lot of spells that he can rip with those.
Yeah, I mean, Mystery's only got 7 mana available for him, though.
Those
Thermo Beam, Static Shock, these are nothing.
Those aren't it! Wow.
What can Karma's Insight of Ages get us? I mean, this is reminiscent of yesterday, right? Where Numiel had 10 Mystic Shot in deck and just needed to try to find one and couldn't find one off of that Deep Meditation.
Felt so bad. I mean, she still ended up winning, but it still felt bad. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I think you just have to play Inside of Ages here. See if you're able to get, you know, a health... another health potion actually wouldn't do. If you get 2 health potions, that would be good.
1 health potion would do it because you'd go up to 14.
Yeah, and you're taking 11. Oh no, you're taking.
Oh, I forgot about the
Sejuani.
Yeah. But it looks like
There we go.
Yeah, just gonna free up a little bit of hand space.
Oh, he's
Steel
got
Tempest
a
comes
Steel
around.
Tempest. Oh, I was really hoping Mystery would be on 2 mana so I could just mention it being 2 mana again, but it doesn't matter. He has the 3 that it would have needed.
Luckily for Pettish, though, Mystery does have to sacrifice the Karma in order to actually survive here. So the Karma, Ezreal, Exodia not going to be online. But Mystery does still have the Ezreal available. Doesn't have the mana to play it, but does have a fair amount of burn in hand as well. A couple of 0 mana Thermo Beams can come down after the fact as well. And Mystery could still get this one done.
This is one of the reasons why Karma is just so nuts. And, like, I mean, this is why we constantly, I think, have the is it Ezreal or is it Karma conversation. Like, which one of these things just doesn't belong here? Like, which one's more broken? And, I mean, when you look at something like Spooky Karma, the same thing happens all the time. You get down super low in these aggro matchups, and you're able to just randomly rip spells from your deck and come back because you get what you need. You have so much spell generation, it's like, oh, after I draw 12 cards, one of them must be useful, you know? Like, and the Ezreal leveled up here going to come down on the field, and this might be, between this turn and next turn, what Mystery needed for him to go ahead and take this away. Gonna get a free Mystic Shot, too. I think this might be Mystery's.
I hate when leveled Ezreal gets to connect. There are so many things you do in an Ezreal deck that feels like cheating.
This is one of them. Ezreal shouldn't be able to attack when he's leveled. There we go. There's the nerf we all need to Ezreal. He just can't attack once he's leveled up. He's purely a win condition.
That'll fix it.
Yeah, that's all we need to do. So let's see. We have another Mystic Shot. That's going to be 4. And he has... Ooh, actually, hold on. Well, we have the... Does he have... He has to play this Chump Wump, actually.
He's definitely got
He'll have game.
something pretty close to game.
Yeah, after he plays this Chump Wump, I think he has game. But I do think he has to develop the Chump Wump this turn.
Because Mystic Shot... So let's say you play Mystic Shot Chump Wump. That puts your opponent at 10. Double 0 mana Thermo Beam puts your opponent at 6. Shroom, Sumpwork Map. Yeah, that's lethal.
Yep.
But if you tap down below that amount, Pettish can fire off a Glimpse Beyond and potentially find Atrocity.
That is a good point. He does have Glimpse in hand, so let's see if Mystery does see that. It's very easy, though, for Mystery to just develop a Chump and just hold on to the 2 mana. He's got a Mystic Shot to deny, any sort of Glimpse Beyond that comes out. So it seems like the right play. And looks like he's headed in that direction. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
That's 10.
So unfortunately, he can't play anything lest Glimpse Beyond does become a problem because to avoid trying to burn a card.
Pettish looks like he's going to play around it as well. Understands that the Sejuani is not actually going to win me the game. I need Atrocity now, or I die to this Ezreal. Might as well fire it off onto the thing that is too high health to die to 2 mana. And I was curious to see if Pettish held back on this, if Mystery would actually just pass back over, understanding that, yes, I will burn a card, but I have lethal with all the cards available to me. What on earth do I need to draw for?
Yeah, and so smart on the side of Pettish, recognizing that he does need to use the higher health unit there. Can't be targeted by Mystic Shot and killed. Those are not what
So actually, I realized that Mystery did need to continue to commit to the board because we had mentioned double 0 mana Thermo Beam as being things that are kind of puzzle pieces for his lethal, which he can't do next turn.
Well, he can do it this turn now that he's actually going ahead and using everything.
Yeah.
So I think he should still be fine. He can use these Thermos. That's going to put him down to 6, and now he's got plenty of spells to his heart's content in hand, but only 1 burst speed. So if an Atrocity is drawn, this is still going to kind of be a mind game as to who plays what card first. We'll see if that's the case with Pettish's next draw.
Yeah, I think I preferred the Mystic Shot at end of turn. Obviously, you give your opponent the chance to top deck Shrooms here, but even if your opponent only draws 1 Shroom, that doesn't impact your lethal in any way. You need to kill them with an even number. But with that coming out, actually, don't have enough burst spells to kill our opponent.
Yeah, he's still... We're on burst spells. It's like, oh, that's right. Ezreal only... It's all spells. It's like he has like 30 damage in his hand.
Yeah. So Pettish gonna fall 0-2 here, and that is going to knock him out of the tournament.
So actually, with that, let's segue. We'll find out. We're gonna segue into the top 8 brackets here. So Pettish was actually still in the winner's bracket with Mystery. So what that does is actually knock Pettish down to the loser's bracket. All right, everybody, that is it. That's going to wrap it up for the winner's bracket finals. Congratulations to Mystery. Going to have that chance to take home the championship. So, as always, everybody, stay healthy, stay positive. I hope it just works for you. Peace out.